So hubby is working on this DIY, and I wanted to record him while he does this. So he's gonna do these because these are going to be for a fence that he's gonna make around the house, and he wanted to buy these guys. What was it at Spirit Store, something like that, and they were really expensive, so he figured he can DIY them himself. So that's what he's doing. So as soon as he's done finishing that one up, he's gonna show us how he did this.
All right, so we have a piece of 1.5 inch ABS pipe. You can use PVC, doesn't matter, but this size works pretty good because I'm still going to put insulation on the inside. You'll see why in a second. But the 1.5 inch, and you can also go bigger. I did stackable candles where they're all side by side of different diameters, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, so forth and so on, and spray painted everything. You glue them together and it looks like something you would buy at a Spirit or one of those places, except they're all together. Anyways, we're using a 1.5 inch ABS. We're going to cut about a 8 to 10 inch piece. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you have a miter box, it works really good. If you don't, any type of saw to cut it. And then all you do is just back and forth. It takes a few seconds.
Watch your fingers with them.
And there's one. It's that simple.
Alright, so what are you doing next?
Now, all I'm doing is just sanding off the edges so that it's smooth.
These are the skulls that hubby's using. He picked them up at Dollar Tree, and he bought 9 of them. I think that's how many he bought.
So like my wifey was saying, we got these at the dollar store. I went to go accompany her, got an idea. Actually, the idea came from Spirit because we were walking through there and saw something they had done with pumpkins and skulls, similar to this, but the cost is really expensive, so, and we needed a lot of them. These are $1 each. A stick of 1.5 inch ABS 10 foot is about $5 to $6 out the door with tax. And I'm cutting them approximately, like I said before, 8 to 10 inches or so. So you can get about 11 cuts of this. Enough for the 10 that I'm doing here. So for, you know, $16 or so, I can do this. Wifey, then let me have some of these glue sticks, and then the bigger ones. And one stick basically takes care of this, and then into the next skull. So I'm using about 8 to 10 sticks at the most for all of these. So what I do is once I cut it down, I'll put it on a flat surface like this, and it gives me kind of an idea of where I can place this so that it's balanced. It's really important because if you just start gluing it and you don't think about this, your skull will end up going to the side like this or to the other side or falling backwards. So this way it gives you an idea of where it's supposed to be. Okay. After that, all you do is take a nice or a high temp glue gun. This is not mine, it's my wife's. This is very dangerous stuff.
Yes, please be very careful.
Yeah. This should be OSHA approved. It's not, but you just want to make sure that you get enough glue on the bottom of this. Kind of like this. And if it drips over, the beauty of Halloween is it doesn't have to be pretty because it's meant to be eerie and scary.
Be careful
And all of the
it doesn't get
above.
you. Be careful it doesn't get you on here.
So now that I kind of had an idea of where it was supposed to go, I'll balance it out. And there you go. It's that simple. And then give it about a good 30-40 seconds for it to set up. Because once it sets up, to do the rest is really quick. If you don't let it set up and you try to continue to put glue all over the place, this is going to start to fall apart. And that's when you can get burned. And then again, accidents happen. And this is no longer fun. So let it set up, and then I'll just show you the rest.
Okay.
Right here.
Okay. What are you doing?
I'm dressing up for Halloween.
Oh God, he's a fairy.
He's a fairy.
backwards fairy.
This is what happens when you start making candles and stuff. Everybody starts getting into the spirit.
Put this on.
That's your sister's costume from a long time ago.
So now you just kind of double check and make sure that it's on there. You know, and then you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but because I put excess amount on there, I don't really need to touch up too much around the edges right here. What you don't want is to leave it like this, where it's unfinished. So I'm gonna need to put a little bit of glue just right here and then just let it drip down. And I'll show you that in a second. So basically, again, doesn't have to be pretty. All you're trying to do is just put a bead on here, just like that. And then because of the temperature, it'll do what it's supposed to do. It'll just kind of melt down like that. Recommendation is, you want layers on it. Don't try to do layers all at once, because it's hot. All it's going to do is just going to kind of melt into it and make one big glob. So you leave it alone, let it dry, and then come back and put a small layer on top of it. And if you want more layers, do the same process over and over again. Let it cool down and put another layer on top. And then the same thing that I was doing to glue it to the skull, I'm doing to the top of this, because candles don't normally look like this. They look nice and soft on the top. And then from here, I just start going a little heavy. And I'll just let gravity do its thing to a certain point. And then you finish it off thin, just like that. That's what creates that kind of look right here. If you look at right here, the way it looks, it kind of thins out and it looks like it's actually melting. See? So it just looks natural.
Looks like boogers.
Yeah, and sometimes boogers will look that way. It just depends on the time of the season. And that's what I'm doing, like what I said before about layers, is I'll actually go kind of thick. I let the top part of it melt a little bit or dry a little bit, and then I'll do that, just like this, and I'll work my way around doing the same thing. Just putting a thicker layer. This is kind of running out, so I'm gonna have to get another glue stick.
All right, so basically that's all he's doing, and then you get that effect.
All right, so now you can kind of tell where it starts to dry out because of the color that it changes to. It goes from a clear to kind of like an opaque color. And it's still a little clear here and there because it has a little bit of heat, but it's not dangerous to handle anymore. So now I'll layer on top of that just a little bit, and I'll just carry it down and make it look more like a natural melt, just like that. This literally takes about maybe 10 minutes to do one. 10 to 15 minutes tops. Just like that. And I keep doing that all the way through. Now, another key thing is that, remember in the beginning when I glued this piece of ABS to the top of the skull, you wanted to balance it out. You got to remember that when you're putting the glue on here, if you put too much glue to one side, you're going to uneven it. So you want to make sure that you put in random fashion, but you want to kind of keep that weight distributed evenly so that when you put it down, it still stands up. Because if you don't do that, it's going to fall over one way or the other. Okay? So when you're putting this on here, put a nice amount on here in the beginning, first time. And then when you go to squeeze it again, start working your way down and then thin it out, just like that. And what that does, it just creates that flow, like if it's just melting away, and this is where the last part of that melt was at. And you can kind of see it with the light, how it starts to look, just like that. And it's actually pretty cool. All right, so insulation. This is for like piping outside, your landscaping stuff, you know, you use for your valves or whatever, so it don't freeze over. 1/2-inch pipe. You want to get the smallest one, the smallest diameter. This is why you use the 1.5 inch. We're going to put tea lights on it, so I'm going to cut it to about maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch short of the lip of it because I'm still going to put a tea light on top of it. Take a ordinary pair of scissors. These are super scissors. But you could take an ordinary, see what I mean?
Where'd it go?
Yeah, this is no joke. This is a man's worst nightmare right here, especially if you're going to get a haircut. And then what you do is you're going to take this and you're going to squeeze it in here. And it's going to be kind of a tight fit, but that's what you want. And now you can see I have a good base to put my tea light on. And you can go a little bit deeper if you want so that all you see is just the flame coming out. But you don't want to glue that tea light in there because you're still going to turn it off and on. It's that easy to do. And you just do that over and over again to each one, leaving that 3/4 of an inch or so to the bottom of it. I like to make my pieces a little bit bigger. You can make them smaller if you want. You can make them the full length if you want, but you don't need to. This is such a tight fit, this won't go anywhere. But if you make them too small, it may crumple up on you real easily and it will go down too far. And then you have to cut another piece. So this gives you a little bit of control as to how you work it. So just like that. And that way it gives you a good base. You don't have to worry too much about where it's going to end up at. You know that you're going to be pretty good. So there's the insulation. That's the height of the candle, about 3/4 of an inch or so. And then once you have, no need to glue this. It's a nice tight fit in there. You're already done. You're happy with the result. Take this and just pop it right in there. And you can see this one just happens to be a perfect height. That usually doesn't happen. It'll just once out of 100 it'll be like that. You have to adjust, and I'll show you. It usually doesn't end up like that. So here's another one. And then just okay, 2 out of 100 will end up like that. But then all you do is just, there you go. And that's what it will look like once it's sprayed. So one thing to keep in mind when you're gluing this, you may have to trim back a little bit that's in here when you're putting it on the top because you may get a little dripping, and I'll show you one that I haven't trimmed back yet. You can see it right there. And what happens is when you go to put in your tea light, it doesn't exactly fit. So you have to trim it out. Just a little bit though. So if you put a little bit less glue or just be careful that it doesn't drip in here, you might not have to trim it out, but more than likely you have to clean it up a little bit. Hello again. Welcome back. So now that we finished our product right here, we got that inside, got it spaced right. Now we get to the good stuff. It's paint. Make sure it's a little windy right now, but downwind is going that way. There's nothing in the way.
And it's just black paint?
Yep, cheap, flat, black paint over from Home Depot. It cost $1 a can. Already started. This will last me for these 10 and probably another 10. So you can see there isn't much invested in here, not much time and not much money. This is real quick. The most important thing is to take care of that because that's kind of a dead giveaway that this is not a real candle. So no Schedule 40 on this. And then all you do, just real quick, and I've never tagged before. This is just something that I've actually seen on YouTube as well. That's how we're doing it. This stuff, especially as being as hot as it is out here, and windy.
Yeah, like a hot hair dryer out here.
It starts to dry really fast, and you can see.
Oh yeah. And you can see right there where it hasn't been painted, where it's painted.
Yep. And then while that one dries up, I go right back. Now there is a little trick that you can do, and I do this, but again it depends on how fat your fingers are, is that when that's drying, you can actually stick your finger inside the insulation like this.
Oh yeah, and hold it.
Yep. Just kind of do that number. Now you can paint underneath. Now what you want to do, and again it doesn't have to be this way, but I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, so I like to cast a shadow. So I'll go right underneath like the jawline, the cheek, just like this. And I'll take a look at it and see what it looks like. And it's just a little bit, depending on how dark you want to go. Just like that. And now, these edges where you put all this extra glue here, that's all you're doing is just kind of highlighting that. Remember, this does not have to be perfect. And that's basically it. That quick.
Oh, that looks good.
13th in the
Here we
official
are.
World Golf Ranking today.
We're just adding a little touch from the last
He could just continue this
when we last cut this off.
meteoric rise back
Wasn't going to
into
do anything with it, but
near the top.
that's what I'm working on right now. So it's basically like a bleeding candle is what I'm doing. It's orange glow-in-the-dark paint, or neon paint would work, and it's mixed in with red, just regular red, just a little bit, to get a little bit darker tint than just an orange. It's the glow-in-the-dark orange.
It's a folk art with fluorescent glow and orange.
Works really good with black lighting. And then this is the red. That's just regular red
Lipstick
paint.
red, uh-huh.
But you mix a little bit of this, not too much, because you don't want to take away, as my wifey said, the properties of this, so that it glows. And then I find it easier to use this type of brush, not like a pointy brush, but something that has an angle to it. It works really well for cutting in. And when you look at the lines right here, it does have a texture because of the glue that was on there. And all you do is you're basically just putting it right to the edge, and you're doing that. And then if you want to get the other side, you're going the opposite way. That's how this works. And then that's basically how it ends up looking. And I'll show you one that I already finished. There's that one right there.
There it is.
And basically what these are going to end up being, they're going to end up being toppers to a fence that I'm building. They're just the post. PVC is going to go through here with a cap. I'm going to attach everything with a toggle bolt. Got that idea from somebody else that we've seen on YouTube. Great idea. It goes right through the cap, toggle bolt goes through here, you tighten it down, and it becomes secure. So it'll end up being like a fence post just like that. And this will just be going all the way around the yard, so forth and so on.
That's gonna look cool. Now, if you wanted to use them as candle holders, how would you make them so they don't tip over?
So because I'm probably going to end up with a couple of extra ones, what I'm going to do, and I didn't think about it till afterwards, I should have done it that way, but you know, just like everything, trial and error, is where I was going to glue this down, I should have cut a hole on the inside of it, a ½ inch, even an inch, because this is 1.5 inches, and put sand in there to weight it down, and then I wouldn't have had that issue about it toppling over. But because I didn't think about that till afterwards, I'm going to drill a hole in the eye socket here, pour the sand in here. I can use it with a funnel or anything like that just to weigh this down, and then I'll just get a couple little like jewels, like black jewels or something.
Yeah, like a little
that.
diamond jewel.
And then just hot glue them in place, and then you won't see the hole anymore.
So the best thing would be to just do it up here before you glue this part
that
on
would be
there.
the best.
Okay.
It's just cut like an inch hole or ½ inch, something, funnel all the sand in there. This is going to cover it anyways, the insulation that's on the inside. We'll finish covering that so you'll never see the hole. But I blew through these and didn't think about it till afterwards. So, PVC. This is scheduled 200. We're only using this because it's on sale at Start Nursery for 99 cents for every 10 feet, 3/4 inch. Otherwise, I would use schedule 40 because it's a little bit firmer. With that being said, 3/4 inch cap on the top. Both pieces have been sprayed out in just a flat black that you can get at Home Depot.
That's what he's talking about right there.
And spray can, each spray can is like $1, so it's not really expensive. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try this at home, boys and girls. You're going to take a bit. It's like a 3/16 bit.
Watch your fingers.
And you're going to make a hole there in the middle, just like that. And just clean it up a little bit. And y'all know what I mean.
Just be very careful not to
And it's basically going to look
go through your
like
fingers.
that. Right? Then get yourself some toggle bolts. And this is what a toggle bolt looks like. And basically the way this works, it has a spring action. You see that right there. So this goes through just like so. And then you're going to put your finger right in here just to kind of hold it firm. Put this on the end right here, and you're going to screw this in. And it's almost like a butterfly, just like that. Okay? Sorry about that. The gas is just unreal. So then this would go into the skull itself, right? So this will go into the skull itself. So I just took my 1/2-inch bit, drilled a hole on here, and then just popped it straight on through. And you put this, turn this over like this, take your drill or screw,
And screw it in
screwdriver.
through there, right?
Yep. And then you tighten it up, and I'll show you that on the next step. Makita drill, 1/2-inch bit. Doggy.
Oh, Priscilla's on the side right there. Look.
And it's
Hello, Priscilla.
propped open a little bit.
Is it? Oh. Okay.
So that's our groupie over there.
She's gone.
She's gone. 1/2-inch bit, right? The skull. I'm going to show you the other part. You kind of want to just go somewhere in the middle, just like this. This isn't a perfect science. This is a beautiful thing.
And the skulls are thin enough.
Yeah. Just nice to make a nice clean hole. Widen it up just a little bit like this, no big deal. Okay. And just kind of clean it up, take off any of the little debris that's there. Just like this. Change your bit if you need to. If you have two drills, which I do have, but I'm not smart enough to set that up right now. And then what I was telling you earlier, that's how that's set up, just like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put some hot glue right here, and then I'm going to put this through very carefully. You don't want to burn yourself. You're going to punch that through, and then the glue here is going to stick to this and help you. And then we're going to put a bead all the way around it. You can kind of see what that looks like over there.
You can also use E6000 instead of the hot glue, but
Yeah.
we don't have any.
Yeah, they have a shortage where we're at. You can use liquid nails, anything that'll give you a really good adhesion. This part's the scary part for me.
Yeah, be careful. Please don't burn yourself.
Okay.
Oh,
Just like that. So that's what you want to do. Okay. That was close.
he got scared. He didn't burn himself. There, you're just screwing that on.
Yep.
Okay. There it is.
Please forgive the camera person laughing. So this is not extra skin. What this is hot glue. And
He burned himself?
Yep, that's what we're trying to stay away from. So anyways, that's the E6000 is a great idea.
E6000, yes.
E6000. We're not trying to promote anything, but E6000. And then while it's like this, then I already put a bead on there. We're just going to go ahead and just go around just to help it.
Yeah, see, that's why E6000 would be good. And then, so it could, because E6000 takes a while to dry, then you would do that, and that, because that
Or
dries
liquid
fast.
nails. You can even use like a Loctite, something that dries really fast.
Oh, yeah.
You know, caulking gun or a squeezable tool. You can find that stuff at Home Depot or Lowe's, any hardware place. And
Trial and
believe
error
me,
for us.
That is what I'm doing next. Because is not funny. Anyways,
Oh my God.
I'm not going to put it on here right now because that stuff, that sham is really hot. But we'll just wait until it dries and then I'll put it together and I'll show you what it looks like.
Oh, there you got, you have one right there.
This with a little bit of extra flesh on it for realistic effect, and that's basically what it looks like. And this is going to be around the yard, the front of the yard, to create some kind of a fence kind of thing.
So there you go.
Well, my wifey knows where we left off last. I don't remember because that's what happens when you turn 50. You start to lose your memory a little bit.
It's when you burn your finger. That's where we left off.
Didn't want to bring that up. Anyways, in the last clip, and I'm sure she's gonna do something with it. I did actually get my fingers And that stuff is hot. Low temp, high temp is a bunch of BS. It's hot no matter what. So, you want to save your digits, you do that. Do a liquid nails or a Loctite, anything like that. It makes it much easier. So, toggle bolt or butterfly goes in here. You hold it kind of in place. Give it a little bit of leverage, I guess. And you tighten it up almost to the end, like that, just kind of leaving a little gap. All right. And then take your caulking gun. They sell this in a squeezable tube too, but if you have a caulking gun, you get a little bit more bang for your buck. And then all you do is just kind of go around. This part doesn't have to look pretty, because you'll see what I'll do here in a second. But just make sure you put enough on here so that when you finally do tighten this up, it squeezes out. So, and then again, you just kind of pull up on it to give a little tension, and then tighten it down, just like so. Take a screwdriver, Phillips or flathead, doesn't matter as long as it fits in the groove or the slot. You finish tightening it up, just like so, and that's what it looks like.
Double your trade-in value. Get up to 600 back
Okay.
with the Galaxy.
And then you take your PVC and you're basically going to slide this into place, just like that. And then you can kind of see what it looks like. And then what I do, just because I'm kind of a perfectionist, I like to script this, and I'll smooth it out just a little bit, because I'm going to finish this off once it dries with a little bit more of that flat black. And I'll spray light. This can be all gray, so that way you don't make a big black ring underneath the skull. It'll kind of just blend in with a little bit of gray. Gives it a little, like patina, if you will, a little age. And that's it.
All right, so instead of using the hot glue, you use that, and it makes it easier and saves your digits.
See, right there, that's the proof. See, no problem. But with the other stuff, that was going right through my fingers.
Oh yeah, but that's what it should look like. All right, cool.
This is not a commercial for Bud Light. I was just really thirsty. Make sure you stay hydrated. So, all right, so now that we were showing you how we got the heads on there, right? And all it is, if you look right here, all I did was just put rebar and hammered it in. And that's all. Very, very easy. And then you trust your neighborhood that somebody's not going to swipe it. But this is the glued product right here. I take the smallest bit that I have, and I will drill depending on how I want to chain everything up. So in this case, I want to go across right here, but I don't have to. I can do it however. Anyways, you screw these in by hand, very simple. You sell those at Home Depot, they're very cheap. And you can get a big box of these, because you can use them for everything. We use them to hang lights up here, which I haven't done yet. But on all your fascia boards up here, there'll be hooks, and then you can hang all your lights on there. So there it is. And then this it's not a perfect science. All I did was just step it off. 1, 2.5. And I did that all the way around, and it pretty much looks spaced out evenly. And they're about all the same height.
And he's gonna put chain. That's what he's saying. He's like right here. The only thing missing is the chain. He has to go buy some chain to put it to go all the way around, and then that way we don't have kids coming into the front of the yard.
Yeah. And then wherever I use the Loctite on here to hold the heads in place, is I'll just come back with a little bit of spray paint and just kind of gray it out. I won't do it solid black. I'll just put like a light spray on there, just to mask it.
Yep, there it is.
Tea lights on the top.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's gonna do the tea lights right on the top. But I will show you guys when he does that. When we do our Halloween tour, our home tour, outdoor tour.
Now I'm working on a spider.
And now he's working on a spider. So let me show you guys the spider. He bought me my mom's. Look at that.
Yep.
He bought me my mom's.
There they are.
There they are. Okay, tell us about your spider.
Oh yeah. So this hairy lady. So it started off with the mask that we bought at Michael's, right? I think it was,
Michael's.
for $1.
Paper mache.
Yep. And then I painted it all up, sprayed it out, and made it look the way that it looks now. The body, I used chicken wire, a plastic bag, a trash bag that went around the chicken wire just to give it the shape. The body, the middle of it, like a manifold, with PVC pipe. So I created a body on the inside of it with all these tubes coming out, and you can see them right here at a 45. They're all coming out of that manifold in the middle, and of course there's 8 legs, 4 on each side.
And you sprayed it with some foam, didn't you?
Yep. So then you take some of that insulation foam that that you would use like for crevices when you cut through walls or anything like that, just for insulation purposes. But you spray it on here and just let it foam up, let it do its thing. You can shave it afterwards. It's really simple. Then after, when it's done, you go ahead and spray it out. I sprayed it out with like neon colors, so they all glow with black light. And then my wife said, you know what, let's make it hairy. So we made it hairy. And the next thing that's going to happen with this is I'm going to put a bunch of little baby spiders on here, like if it's the mama carrying her spiders. It's going to go over the cellar that I made, half a body sticking out. She's going to be munching on that. And she does have legs.
She does have her legs, and that's all. This is Spanish moss from Dollar Tree.
These are some legs, baby.
Those are the legs right there.
Yep.
And at the end
Little
has
hairy.
the...
And then this guy goes into what I just showed you, the 45s on the body. And then once it sticks out like this, you can position them however you want, like this, and all I did was cut the end piece and kind of just shaped it,
Yep, like that.
just like that. And that'll go all the way around. It looks pretty cool when it's all done,
Yeah,
but that's what I'm working on right now.
cool. All right, so there it is.
Thank you for tuning in. Wait till the next project.
Bye, guys.
Salud.
All right, now it's painted. Here it is.